Okay, hey there, Laker fans. Welcome to another episode of Lakers Detailed. I'm your host, Vinay, with my co host, Raj. Raj, the Lakers just beat the Miami Heat off of a brutal back to back where they played in Houston last night, had to show up to Miami at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I think everybody was expecting the Lakers to probably schedule a loss this one because Adam Silver has a ridiculous schedule set up for the Lakers. But instead, we get a Luka Doncic 60 ball against the Miami Heat. An extraordinary game. The Lakers win again. The Lakers are rolling teams, and we have so much stuff to talk about because this game was spectacular. But we just played the Houston Rockets twice, a team that's had our number. We just beat the Denver Nuggets in a thriller, a game that you attended in person. The Lakers basketball is rolling right now, and I think the only place to start this conversation is to talk about Luka Doncic because this dude has been unreal for the month of March. My friend, how are you doing with all of this?
My God, it's been like a crazy week. I just can't believe we are at this point now where we're locked into the 3 seed. The team has somehow kind of coalesced in a way where I think they all believe in each other. And the way you believe in a team is when you have the best player in the league in his prime. There are some strange conversations about Luka the last, month and a half in terms of where he's at in the pecking order of the NBA. And guys who watched him every game go, no, this guy is averaging like 35 a game on
Yeah, yeah,
ridiculous efficiency. But what it's, I think, come now, Vinay, it's come with wins, right? Like it's being packed
yes,
together with wins, and that punches more weight. There's a lot more power there, right? When there's wins attached to it.
yeah.
But my God, Luka Doncic, um, it's an incredible feeling to watch him in person. It's incredible, even on TV tonight, watching him drop 60 on Miami after, the 40 last night against Houston. Vinay, this is the best player in basketball.
Yeah.
Talking, what are you seeing from a best player in the league that's right dab in the middle of his prime? The middle of
Well,
his prime taking over.
right. He is in JJ said before he's players can get in the flow state and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
dude, Luca is on another level, especially like him in aggregate form, he's just been spectacular. Just scoring the basketball, passing the basketball. His defense has gotten better. I thought his defense was good, and I feel like it's gotten even better from like what we thought it could be potentially be. Um, but bro, just just these fourth quarters, like the stuff he's been
Mm.
doing in these fourth quarters is crazy. Like the shot making in this Miami game, he was bombing threes left and right, which was incredible to watch. But dude, that Houston game, when the game got real tight, like it got super tight, he takes an ISO against Amen Thompson, drains a three, takes an ISO against, I think, Jabari Smith Jr., drains a three. And the thing, Raj, I gotta say is it's just not him doing really well. It's like you can tell like his teammates, they're like locked in on him in the fourth quarter. Like they're like, no, we're getting him the ball. We're gonna make sure we space it out for him. We're ready for whatever he wants to do. And we're gonna talk, we probably won't focus too much on the Miami game because he had a spectacular scoring effort. But that Houston game, the second Houston game, I thought Luka was incredible.
You watch the difference between, and then Kevin Durant is brilliant. That's a brilliant basketball player. He's 50,
Mm-hmm.
40, 90 or close to it, I think, again this
Mm-hmm.
year, which is absurd at his age. But I just keep going back to Vinay. There's a difference between a superstar, at 38,
Yeah.
40, 36, right? What age did LeBron get here? 35, 36 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Something
I
like that.
think
Yeah.
there's a difference between that and a player that's 28, superstar in his prime, right? And like watching him, it reminds me of Kobe growing up watching him.
Yeah.
Obviously, LeBron has been incredible here, but I think there is a difference of a guy that's right in his prime. I think there's a regular season motor that they can get to where they can backpack things in a way that a lot of stars can't. You just mentioned the fourth quarters. Kevin Durant, when I thought had a really good third quarter, but
Mm-hmm.
there's like a no, like it's my time right now kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And I thought Luka Doncic took over that game, took over this Miami game. He has an unguardableness to him with his shot making that just is unpredictable. And yeah, it's such a haymaker to go to, and it's there's an annoyance to it, like there's a settling nature that it can come to. But then when he's able to pull out a step back three in your face, and it's the ones that like you don't really notice. Like Houston, I think was down 6, and he hits a step back three, and those are the knockouts before the knockout. Like
Bro,
it's
yeah.
yeah, and that's the stuff that is just it's incredible to watch him do this on a team. You could tell, like I think Luka always believes in himself, but I think there's a level of belief in the team that he has now reached where he believes it's worth going into the tank to take a charge. It's worth diving on the floor. He had to play against Tari Eason last night. Or yeah, last night. Shoot.
Yeah.
Last night where he was like battling with Tari Eason for a rebound. He's like, get off my back. You're not, stealing this ball from me. These like extra effort stuff that you're talking about with the defense. He's just been a monster.
Yeah. I mean, just to reframe it, because like I think we've been hyper focused because I think all Laker fans are on this high from beating Houston twice in a row, a team that everybody keeps saying that we can't beat, tougher than us, stronger than us, more athletic than us, which to some degree might be true, but they have their flaws too as well. Like since the start of March, the Lakers have lost one game, Raj. They've lost one game in the month of March. And I want to just read you. With Luka, it's always going to be scoring. That's always going to be a thing. But he's obviously much more capable of more than that. But I just want to read you what he's done in March. Okay, he's done this. This is just his scoring: 29 against Sacramento, 38 against New Orleans, 28 against Sacramento, 27 against New Orleans. In the one loss of the season, 27 or one loss of the month, 27 against Denver. And from there, Raj, he put up 44 against Indiana, 35 against New York, 31 point triple-double against Minnesota, 51 against Chicago, another 30-point triple-double against the Denver Nuggets, hits that monster game winner in overtime, 36 against Houston, 40 against Houston, and then has a 60-point game. He is in like a different place, right? He's in a different stratosphere right now.
He's in a flow state
with what he's been doing. And like that, bro, that game winner. I'm sorry. That game winner he hit in overtime against Denver. Like when they gave him the ball first, they run the play to get him the ball.
Yeah.
And I was just like, don't wait for this. Just make up your mind and go do whatever you're going to go do. And I was so happy that he was just like, no, I'm just going to go to wherever this open space is, and I'm going to pull up, and you're not going to have a chance to stop the shot. And he drained it. And you could tell that, like, I think there was like a huge relief, I feel like, from everybody in the family. Like Ayton has stellar game. Austin had that crazy free throw play to do it. And we'll talk about all these other guys, so don't worry about it. But, like, it just feels like Luka has turned a corner here in March where he's just, like, in this mental place where he's just like, I'm scoring on everybody, anybody. Like, it just doesn't matter. I'm here to do this.
Let's zoom in a little bit. Why do you think he's turned that corner? Like, what's just him specifically? What do you think has shifted? Because I think we've both been that Luka's been amazing all season. He should be in MVP talks a while ago. Shout out Kendrick Perkins, but like he should have been in MVP talks a while ago. But what do you think shifted? I guess in March, because I think. Even as I think that, well, I don't know if they would, but even like the greatest Luka stands, I think would be able to admit, hey, there's something in March where his game feels a little bit more. The word to me, Vinay, is intentional and surgical. It's a little bit more. There's more intention in the shot making. There's more kind of taking moments of games and dominating versus kind of the free flowing that I think he was. But what do you think has changed in March for him?
Yeah, I think his level of aggression, like that, one of the things that I noticed, like in that Denver game, which is a thing, like we've always talked about, you and I have talked about, like the pace that Luka likes to play at, that sometimes it's like a medium pace. He doesn't really play too fast. He doesn't really play too slow. But sometimes if he's playing too fast, then he gets tired at the end of games. But this entire stretch, it feels like he's been really, really, like, he's found exactly what his rhythm is going to be, exactly what his shots will be. I'll say the other thing too, Raj. He has stopped playing for the foul. Like, he has stopped playing for, and he has just been like, it might almost be boring for him, but he's started to play that, like, you know what, I'm just going to take what I can shoot from anywhere on the court. I'm just going to take the shot. I'm not going to try to get this guy into foul trouble and play it. And I feel like that's helped a lot of his game, because now it seems like there's no confusion about what he's doing on a play anymore. He's not herky jerky looking for other players. The other thing is also this: DeAndre Ayton's playing better.
Yes.
Like Austin has been playing better. Braun has been playing really, really well in March. So like I think there's also a part of this where these guys have also improved, and it's just allowed him to be what he's great at, which is being an all galaxy scorer and creator for his teammates.
Yeah, I think that's the part that I think gets lost in these high scoring games, right? He had the 60, he had the 40. You just rattled off all the scoring.
Yeah.
Which you didn't rattle off. We don't have time for it. Is the assist, right? Like he's
Yeah.
still getting these double-digit assists on a nightly basis, and these aren't like easy drive, kick to the corner assists.
Yeah.
These are like I get 3 people on me.
Yeah.
I read where the first help is coming from, then I find like the skip pass to the guy that would be open on the next. Like it's just ridiculous passing. It makes the lives of guys like Rui Hachimura so easy, where like he just gets to spot up and take wide open threes. And I think there's a reason why he's one of the leaders in 3-point percentage for the season. But guys like Luke Kennard kind of get slotted correctly. And I think just all that has culminated again, being a guy that has, there's a point I think that every generational player gets to. And I think Jokic has reached this. There's a point where they've not mastered basketball, but they've mastered kind of their way of impacting a game, right? I think Luka got to some of this in his finals run. Like he got to some of this where like, oh, you have Rudy Gobert on the opposite side. Like you're not going to be able to guard me.
Yeah.
And there's a play against Houston I highlighted online, but it was a 2-point game. Like it's a 2-point game, close game against a Rockets team that needed that win. So this is not like the Wizards close game. He was toying with their defense. Like he's like, oh, it's like that's Alperen Sengun. I know exactly where all of you are gonna be on this play.
Yeah.
He's like, no, Marcus Smart, like get in the corner. Like I promise we don't need you. And you could see Smart. He's like, what? Like what? He's like, he just gets the corner. He's like, everyone else just space. Like, and he had Amin Thompson guarding him, which an amazing defender. It's like Sengun. He's like, Ayton, just screen for me on the right side, bro, behind the back to split the double team.
Amazing. And then throws the lob.
No look lob to Rui. Just there's a dominance and playfulness, and I think it's important that he also understands the entertainment value in basketball as well. I just like he's been incredible,
bro. He's great. Dude, the fourth quarter of a tight game to pull out a behind the back trap split dribble. I was like, bro, this guy's like again sometimes too, but again. Like the joy that he clearly gets from his teammates too as well is so fascinating to watch. Like as a Laker fan, like I was talking to the guys on Coach's Den, like if you haven't watched Luka in person, this guy's personality is magnetic. Like you can't, there's no way you can avoid him drawing you into the game, whether he's angry and frustrated or whether he's ecstatic. And I feel like that affects the rest of the team as well. Bro, he had that same play. They ran that same pick and roll, a version of that. And he had both LeBron crashing from the left-hand side and Ayton crashing. He had 2 different alley-oops he could have thrown. He ends up throwing the alley-oop to LeBron crashing from the left corner later in the game of that Houston game. But again, like, look at him after that play. Go look and see how happy he is to watch his teammates score. And like that's been like one of the things that's been so not fascinating. I'll say this is purely my opinion. I found it very irritating that people that cover the game have been covering like the bizarre complaining with the refs thing and all that sort of stuff. Like they've focused on like these small things that like only the cameras that are really trying to capture that kind of stuff would catch. And for like the month of February, like mid-February, like there's this, or I mean, after the All-Star break, there was like this stretch where like they were just picking on random stuff with Luka to be like, yeah, we don't know if he's really that guy because, or he, and now Kendrick Perkins or whoever it is like a national show saying, well, I don't know if he's first team All NBA. Like, bro, what are y'all watching? Like, complaining to the refs is not a reason to like not keep a guy who's leading the league in scoring and what's it called, like off the first NBA All NBA teams, but. Again, like the greatest players will always shine through all that, whatever the national media stuff is that comes through it. And I feel like he's having a really nice moment right now as a Laker where he is just on a barrage, just destroying everything in front of him. And so I think it's great because this is go time now. We got to get into shape for the playoffs. And he's been spectacular.
And I think that's this is the last thing for me on Luka. I think he's realizing that the playoffs are coming. And again, I think this team has a shot now. What shot it is, how close can they get? Those are all conversations you can have in terms of, you can contextualize. But Luka Doncic, I'm sure sees like, hey, put me in a room with all. They're in the room with me. Like I'm not in the room with them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Wemby's in the room with me. He's got to guard me too on the other end. And so I think there's part of that. And again, like I've said this all season. I think you tweeted about as well. But Lakers got covered like some team middling over 500, even with all their mistakes, even with the stuff with the refs you're talking about with Luka, with LeBron and Austin missing the time that they did. They're covered like a team that's like fighting for their lives. I'm like, bro, we have the same record as Denver, Minnesota, Houston. All year, these teams have been healthier than Houston. You could say they missed their guys from the start, but like, I mean, for this season, they've kind of had their guys. Denver's had their guys, but yeah, it just, and now the Lakers have kind of put the foot on the gas for the first time this year. There's some separation being created, and all of a sudden there's a whirlwind. It's like, this team has been on a winning pace for a while. They haven't won 8 games in a row that they have now today, but I think the conversation around them has been interesting. And now you're starting to see people wake up a little bit of, oh, like, okay, this is what it looks like when they have it going.
Yeah, I think it's just as simple as that. It's just people were trying to find ways to be discouraging of what the Lakers were. And granted, we didn't do ourselves any favors when we kept getting 30 balled on national TV games when people aren't watching us on a regular basis. But again, they showed up for these Houston games. They've completely overwhelmed Minnesota in every game that they played. They showed up against Denver. All those games have been tight, and obviously we won the most recent one that was tight. Tight games. We won a tight game against Houston 2 different ways. We did it with our defense and we did it with our offense 2 different ways. But again, the idea that the Lakers, if you're one of those people who says, hey, the Lakers are not a contender, they're not on OKC level, that's fine. I don't think you're going to find a Laker fan, like an honest Laker fan, that's going to be like, yeah, we could beat them. Like, for sure. I'm picking him.
Right.
Outside of being a Laker fan, you're going to pick him. That's fine. But we're not like a play-in team, like the way people talk to us about. And so, and a key part of that, a key reason for that is because we have Luka Doncic. Like, the guy's crazy. Like, he's a monster. Like, and so I think people say whatever you want. People will be might be disingenuous about the Lakers. It's totally fine. But I put this as the title for the episode. People need to stop lying on Luka Doncic. That guy has been phenomenal. I don't care about whether he battles with the refs, doesn't battle with the refs. I don't care whether he's making fun of opposing fans in the crowd and stuff like that. That is all part of competitiveness and showmanship and all that sort of stuff. The dude is having an incredible basketball season. If you don't like his aesthetics, that's a you problem. That's not our problem. We're okay with it. So it is what it is. And I get it. There's the efficiency FC is always just like, oh, these true shooting is blah, blah, blah. And I don't care. Can you win the game? You winning me the game? That's what I care about.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good segue, Vinay, into the Denver game. I think the Denver game was incredible. That being there was about to turn into a traumatic experience before an enjoyable one. If they lost that would have been pretty traumatic. But with Aaron Gordon turning into Giannis with a Steph Curry jump shot somehow, and just being absolutely ridiculous. And some of the shots in that game, you could tell there was some like, is that the right shot? Is there some settling 100%. Right? Luka had the struggle to start the fourth quarter. Austin, I thought, kind of carried that fourth quarter, but I think like those shots kind of allow for players like him to have the shot he did at the end. Like that is all cumulative. And for him to come down and hit that game winner, the crowd being just absolutely berserk. There's an interactiveness between Luka and the crowd. And you just mentioned it in terms of in Houston where he's heckling with the or the someone fans, was heckling him. But there's like a interactiveness with him in the crowd, which is interesting. He almost like breaks the fourth wall, right? It's
man.
Like there's lines on the court, but he's one of the few people. It's funny because like LeBron's probably heard his name yelled at him so long he doesn't even hear it anymore. Like unless it's someone he knows, right? If his wife calls him. But like if you're a fan and you yell LeBron, it's almost like you're yelling at a TV screen, even if you're in front of him. It's an interesting experience. But Luka, like you yell at Luka and he's like, "What'd you say to me?" And it's like, wait, you can hear me? He's like, type of thing. But yeah, just the shot and the ability to kind of come through in that game. Talk to me about Lakers Nuggets a little bit.
That game was, I thought that was a game where like everybody had to sort of pitch in. Obviously it's earmarked by the Austin free throw play and the Luka game winner. But that was a game that I thought that honestly everybody had to chip in to some degree. I thought Ayton was phenomenal. Again, Ayton, Aiden's been up and down. He had an article that came out recently where he talked about just kind of checking himself and checking his ego and realizing that he needs to take a step back and not worry about his shots and stuff like that. And again, this stretch of basketball that the Lakers have been winning does not happen if DeAndre Ayton isn't playing better basketball. Like it just, I'm sorry. Like Luka is phenomenal, but that overtime, Ayton had to take 5 isolation plays on his own. Nobody came to help him. He had to take Jokic 4 times, and he had to take Jamal Murray 1 time, and he did a phenomenal job. And he had 2 buckets also in overtime. But Denver is a team. The reason why I like the Denver game, I like to juxtapose the Denver team and the Houston wins separately, is because those are 2 different types of teams in the sense that Houston knows what they are. Houston is going to be physical. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to go for every rebound. They know they can't shoot, so they're going to try to overwhelm you with physicality. Denver, they can shoot, but they can't defend. But Denver is a team that can quickly switch modes. They can go from being a Jamal Murray, Jokic 2-man offense in the first half and quickly flip to Aaron Gordon isolations all third quarter in the second half, to switching all the way over to whatever, or they'll play like a small ball, like a 5-out small ball 5 lineup where everybody's running up and down the floor, and Jokic might not even be on the floor, or Jamal might not be on the floor, or neither of them are on the floor when that happens. So the reason why I really like all of those both of those wins, aside from the fact that we beat them, we had to beat Denver in their style of basketball too. Like we had to adjust to what they were doing. We went up because we were making shots and they were missing shots. But when Denver decided to size down and we kept playing DeAndre and we kept playing Jackson Hayes, we lost that lead because they were spacing the floor, they're causing turnovers and making threes. Eventually, we figured it out, and then we played DeAndre and we ended up winning that game in overtime. But Raj, that is what makes us. That's how you win games. Like you have to know, is it a roster identity thing? Is it the coach quickly making changes? Are we quick to make the changes too as well? Like that's why these wins have meant so much more to me. Not just because we've beaten them, but because they're like different characters. Like, if you've played Mortal Kombat or if you've played anything like, or Pokemon, maybe the old Pokemon game where you have to go to a gym and the gym has like a specific type of Pokemon, it's a rock Pokemon, water Pokemon. Like these teams are all different types. It's like a different issue each time. It's a puzzle we have to solve. And I think the Lakers have done a really, really nice job solving these puzzles as they've been winning these games. And it's a great sign for us moving forward.
100%. You talked about the Denver game. Their shot making was unreal. Like they just Tim Hardaway Jr., Aaron Gordon, all those guys. Jamal Murray didn't shoot well. But I've liked Vinay is we've approached these as playoff games, right? Like we've approached them all as we're gonna have playoff type adjustments, playoff type defensive schemes. I thought, we had a pretty good game plan for Jokic. He still was amazing, but the kind of guts it takes to be like, hey, we're just going to switch every single time on you. And then we're going to double every single time. And it created a bunch of turnovers. Jokic also made some kind of incredible passes. And you go to the Houston game, we're like, all right, Kevin Durant, we're doubling you on the catch every single time. Obviously, it frustrated him in that first game. In the second game, he had some adjustments to it in the third quarter. But overall, Vinay, I thought these were very important wins. The Minnesota win kind of gets thrown under the kind of rug, but I thought that was just as important, getting a win against a healthy Minnesota team. We held, I think, Anthony Edwards to 5 for 18 shooting or something like that. That's where I kind of want to go next. The defense is good now. Now they're 20th on the season, but I think that kind of belies what has happened since the All-Star break. I think they're in top 15, maybe even top 12. I don't know the exact number for them, but the defense has taken a step. I think you mentioned, like, is it the roster? I think the coaching staff has found a defensive scheme that fits the team they have, right? Like, I love that. Like, I remember how frustrated we would get when we would have Jackson Hayes being a kind of reserve defender where you just have him playing in a drop type coverage. Just like, no, you have long arms and quick feet. You're going to switch. Like we're going to have you switch out on Kevin Durant, on Jamal Murray. I think these schemes have matched the personnel, but what have you seen from these defensive jump for a team that's still starting Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, Luke Kennard still is a big part of the rotation. Laker fans' favorite kind of guy to go at, Rui Hachimura. Just continues to hit big shots. Thankless job for Rui Hachimura. the only role player I know in the whole NBA that hits big shots and gets no credit for them. But, but like, yeah, what have you seen from a defensive jump for a team that I guess plays the nationally viewed kind of negative defenders?
Yeah, so I was looking it up as you were talking about it. Over the past 10 games, it'll probably go up a little bit more. After this game, the Lakers have had the number 11 defense. They've had the number 2 offense, but the number 11 defense in the league, which is interesting considering that we're playing tougher teams too now as well. They care more, Raj. It seems like they play like they care more, like that, like they're taking a more playoff approach to their defense. It feels less as though, like, even against the bad teams, it feels like their baseline level of how much we care about playing defense has gone up more, and that was something that probably we wanted to see back in January, but I guess they decided to wait till March for it to happen, and it has been a collective thing. It hasn't been just like one guy massively under, which is also a great sign, because then you know that it's not multiple points of failure or like a single point of failure that a team can scout out. I think DeAndre's been better. Luka's been really good in ISO. Braun has been really good in ISO. I think the first Houston game, if I remember correctly, or it might have been the Denver game, Braun was doing a lot of his ball hawking where he was coming by and challenging shots. The last night's game, he had a huge low man block on Jabari Smith Jr. at the rim. I'm seeing Luka go get down in the trenches, strip people on layup attempts. I'm seeing Austin go down, strip people on layup attempts. He's fighting to stay in front of other guys. Might be coming at the cost of his legs and his shooting ability. But again, Austin is, it's either Austin or Marcus is usually the primary guy on one of these perimeter guys, depending on how it ends up shaking up. Austin did a really nice job against Kevin Durant the first matchup against Houston. So, like, I could keep going down the list. Like, Marcus Smart's made plays, Jake Arabia's made plays, but like they genuinely are all now playing like they care. And this was something that I think, I've had like a lot of conversations about people complaining about role players versus stars. And one of the things I've been trying to tell people is we can't have variance with our stars. Role players are expected to have variance. That's why they're role players. But our stars have to give us some baseline of something on the defensive end. And I thought we weren't getting that consistently, but now it feels like we're getting that consistently. And they're all bought in. They're all working together to get to that point. What do you think?
That's where I was going to go with it. I think you care about stuff you believe in, right? Like, and I think this team just believes in what they can do. You're starting to see stuff like LeBron dove on the floor.
Crazy ball. Crazy play.
And it's like, I think JJ mentioned that was the first time I've seen you dive on the floor, right? In like 23 years or 28 or 26, maybe even watching him in high school, whatever he was. And you're seeing Luka again fight for Luka drawing charges. Now, he didn't get the charge, but I mean, just for him putting his body in there, I think the Lakers lead the league in charges, Vinay. And so when that's like a culture of your team, that not just to charge, like, yes, it gets to turnover, but I think what it means deeper is that you put your body on the line for your team, like. Those are painful plays. Marcus Smart takes the grunt of them. I think Marcus and Austin are kind of the leaders in it. And those hurt. If you ever played pickup and taken a charge ever, that thing takes the wind out of you. But and to see like Luka, LeBron do that, and there's a level of accountability that comes with it that they're able to say. There was a play, I think, where Luka got mad at Rui for not rotating correctly. And that probably hits a little different when Luka also is rotating correctly, right? It's a little bit tougher for him to
accountability.
It's tougher to point fingers when you yourself aren't doing the job that you're pointing for. But I think that's kind of kept them up. And I think you mentioned DeAndre Ayton's I thought it was a crazy quote to get from him of, hey, I looked in the mirror and said, I'm not that guy for this team, at least specifically. Yeah. That's a huge, that was kind of our offseason conversation, was what DeAndre Ayton do they get? What kind of engagement, motivation, how much would he need touches? And I think he's kind of been an awesome kind of big man for them. Even if he doesn't close, he's done a nice job walling off the paint, switching on the perimeter. Everyone likes to kind of box score, watch his rebounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, he's on the perimeter. Like, he's switching out a ton. Luka's getting 12 boards a game. Where do you think that's coming from? Like, the center's not in the rim. So
that was the first Houston game where he kept switching out on Kevin Durant, and then the Lakers wouldn't get the rebounds. And then I would hear people say, "Oh, DeAndre, get the rebound." I was like, no, he's out on the perimeter. Like, you have him defending, making KD miss or making him have to shoot over him. Y'all got to go get it. And so I'll add this, and I'll let you finish your thought. part of the defense that has been also good. It wasn't good that first Houston game, but it was better the second Houston game. Is their defensive rebounding has gone better.
Mm.
Like LeBron and Luka are now getting into the mix and grabbing these rebounds in contested form. They're not just waiting for somebody else to happen to grab it. And that is a big part of everything because when LeBron or Luka grabs the rebound, defensive rebound, everybody else can run down the floor and set up so that you can do what you want to do on offense. And that's a really, really important part. That's some of the best teams in the league. OKC does that really, really well. They rebound really well, get it to Shea, and set up their format, set up the alignment that they want to set up so that Shea can do what he does in an open floor. So that has gotten better. That I think that's part of the reason why their offense has gotten better too as well.
I remember watching them play the Rockets on Christmas, Vinay, and there was a level of physicality that Houston had where it was kind of teetering on bullying, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, we can't even stay on the court with these dudes.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few months to watch them kind of defend and perplex Houston the way they did. Ahmed Thompson, I thought, had a pretty good 2 games, but down the stretch wasn't able to really drive by the way he wanted to. I think there was a uptick in physicality, and JJ spoke about how like Austin has really kind of been the forefront of that, where he didn't think Austin was as physical as he was before. But the whole team I think has picked up their physicality, their toughness. They're just doing all the little things, and that's led to a freaking 8-game win streak. It's insane. I'm not sure we won 8 games in a row last year. I don't believe so. They might have got to 7 maybe, but 8 games in a row, most of them on the road so far. Most of it against tough teams, playoff type teams, and I think this team can really go on a run here. The fact that they all played against Miami, like
I was shocked. Yeah,
shows you like where the culture is. I think right now, right? All of them could have easily been like, nah, second night back to back. We just beat Houston last night. Take the day off. Let Adu and Bronny and Dalton kind of get this game. And like, no, we're playing. We're in Miami. We don't care. I think the team's in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, it's been really good to see them start to really mesh together. It feels like they figured some things out. I would be remiss to say that the big conversation about the guys after Luka figuring themselves out. We talked about Luka figuring himself out or figuring out where he wants to go. We talked about DeAndre Ayton having the come to Jesus moment for himself. But the balance between Austin and LeBron has been something that has been like routinely needed to be figured out. And I would say that there's been a little bit of unfairness from whichever side of the camp that you're part of. There's people saying, well, can Austin do it in the playoffs? One camp says that. The other camp says, well, the data shows that when Austin gets the ball more, everything is better. And maybe we shouldn't be prioritizing this guy so much, which, again, some of it is fair. Some of it I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'd agree with this, but they have to figure that out. And it feels like they have figured that out a little bit to some degree. And, I was very surprised when JJ came out and said, hey, yeah, we are at our best when LeBron is our 3rd highest used player.
Yeah.
And so I think the reason why some people kind of twisted that a little bit, saying that like, oh, he's a 3rd option. But he's saying something very, very specific. He's saying our 3rd highest used player. And there's a basketball part of that I think is really important. And there's a data part of that is the more prevalent thing that people are saying. And so there's been folks saying, well, he's always been the 3rd option. Austin's always been the 2nd option. He never takes a step back. And okay, I'm not here to mediate any of that. You guys can pretend whatever those arguments have to be. The truth to me, Raj, is this. We are a pick and roll basketball team. Yeah. That is what we are really, really good at. That is what Luka Doncic is incredible at. And Austin Reeves is incredible at too as well. Good things happen when we run pick and roll basketball with either one of those guys. The reason why you want Austin to run it more is because in nature, okay, this is a basketball thing now. We're not talking about data. I know what the data is, so I'm not here to say otherwise. But I'm trying to explain what I think is happening and why this hierarchy has been established now. Is because when you run pick and roll basketball, the nature of that type of basketball involves you including everybody in the offense. The guy that sits in the corner has to be there. The guy who's in the dunker spot has to be there. Or if they're filling opposite corners has to be there. The guy, if it's a 45 cut that's being set up, has to be there. Like you can't run that pick and roll if that guy's not there. The ball handler and the screener have to do the dance that they do together in order to create the play. Everybody has to participate in that type of offense. You don't get to just stand around the entire time because you never know when the ball might be headed in your direction. In nature, I think because of that style of basketball, I think that's why you see better production out of it. Obviously, Austin himself has been incredible as a scorer, but the fact that he's also able to create for his teammates and keep other guys involved and just get downhill and attack and collapse the defense or attract a second defender and bend it is an important thing. There's a basketball part of it that's really, really important. And I think that's when people say, we'll talk about the actual usage part, like the third usage, second usage. It's not so much about the person, it's about the style of basketball that works. If our best offense is Luka pick and roll, then our second best offense is Austin pick and roll too as well. And so just stylistically, you have to prioritize usage to that style of basketball. What do you think about that?
100%. I said I think beginning of the season, LeBron needed to be more of a screener, and people are like, yeah, pitchforks kind of came out very quickly. But I think you're kind of seeing, obviously, you're not relegating him to some role where he can't have autonomy in what he does on the floor. But I think you're right. I think Luka and Austin are pick and roll nature players, and that's really, they want to play that with their center. And we picked on Reed Shepherd quite a bit in the first game because Sengun was out. So there was not a lot of other points of entry. Everyone else is a pretty positive defender that Houston plays. So Reed Shepherd kind of been the guy. But I think overall, Luka wants to run it with his big man. I think him and Ayton finding that chemistry. Austin, Ayton started the year with nice chemistry. But I'm with you. And I think it's not that, Austin being good is better in some kind of holistic way. It's better for the 28-year-old to have better games than the 41-year-old. That's kind of the way people are kind of taking this in some personal way. I don't think that's it at all. It's just the way the team is constructed. It's constructed around a backcourt that is needed to be offensively potent, right? And I think that's what Austin is good at. That's what Luka is good at. I think LeBron is the chameleon in the group that can do other things. You mentioned the block he had. He's kind of he's opened our transition game, man, in a way where that Austin and Luka just don't. They're not physical freaks of nature, as good as they are as players. And I think that's where LeBron kind of filling in to this role. Again, third option sounds like some kind of demotion or some way. And there's nights LeBron's still going to have 30. He's still going to be efficient. He's still going to get a ton of shots. He's still going to be able to run whatever stuff he wants. But I think just placing him on different points of the floor allows Luka and Austin to be in rhythm. Austin had a kind of struggle these last two, but had like 30 straight and 4 straight games or something like that. Against good teams you mentioned the driving. I think that's so important. The human element of the game that you talk about, like there's a rhythm to basketball that on-ball scorers need. Like there's just a rhythm to that. I thought Richard Jefferson had like a great quote today. I don't know if you heard it. He has a pod called Road Tripping Pod. And he mentioned how Luka missed 3 free throws against Houston. But he mentioned how like 30-point a game scorers, the first 2 or 3 shots aren't really even being shot to make it. It's kind of just feeling your rhythm in a game. And I thought that was like a really beautiful way to describe basketball in a way. Like Luka knows I don't have 7 shots this game. I have 27. So like the first 7, I don't have to put so much pressure on myself, and I thought that's interesting the way I look at it. And I think that's something for Austin too, where Austin knows when he has 20 shots in the bag, the first 2 don't have to be some super pressure shots. When you have 13 shots in a game, it's a little bit different, right? You miss 3, now you're seen as, cold, or it's just an interesting way to look at it. But I'm with you. I think this has just fit the basketball personalities. And we've been on this, I think, to start the year in terms of like, hey, LeBron's the one that's gonna have to adjust that, and that's kind of what happened. Credit to him for doing that. We didn't have to do it. I think winning is kind of the current that picks all these waves up. But again, he didn't have to do this, and he has, and I think it's been better for the team.
Yeah. Can I say one thing? The people who are doing this over statistical averages, the people who are like, oh, we want him to like average. We don't want him to average less than whatever his career averages are.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this season he's not going to win a chip, but it's just like, it's also extending his career. Like if he wants to continue playing, like I would imagine that he's probably to some degree. Like, I mean, sorry, forget imagining. We've also seen this season and last season what LeBron looks like if he's asked to play with that, like the same kind of workload, like a 25-year-old number one option on a team is, and that can be physically taxing for a guy like him. And
Yeah.
so when we like, I keep making the joke that this is the hierarchy that needs to work, but I try to at least I try to at least caveat it by or contextualize it by saying it's a play style hierarchy. It is not a person hierarchy. It's a play style hierarchy.
Right.
And like that's the second Houston, or was it the first Houston game? Yeah, the first Houston game was, or sorry, the second Houston game was a great example of like how if you have two guys that take all the focus and the attention away, how it allows that third guy who's like, by the way, one of the greatest players of all time, how it allows him to just kind of go on a rampage himself. And like the Houston, obviously, I think he only missed one shot today against Miami. He only missed one shot against Houston. But the quality of his shots, Raj, were unreal in Houston. It was all lobs, all transition attacks. Like, again, we don't have a guy that can attack in transition like LeBron does for the Lakers. Like we don't. Like Austin can try it sometimes, but against athletic teams, it's not going to work out that way for the most part. So Braun getting ahead of steam in transition on those leak outs, on a great defensive play, and he's the outlet pass going downhill. It's a huge deal. The one thing I've certainly noticed is that we are cutting down a little bit on the post-up stuff, like force feeding him post-up stuff. He either gets it and he attacks immediately, or he gives it back out and we go into something else. And I think that's really important because he does have to touch the ball to get a rhythm. Like you have to let him try some of those post-ups. You can't just cut him out completely because he's not a robot. But once he gets his touches, then we can start feeding him in other ways. He played the screener, I think, in a couple of positions in the Houston game, and so that was great to see. But again, his ability to get downhill and be a force at the rim is huge. And if he can do that with this uptick in defense that he's been giving us, even if it's a little bit more, a couple of low man plays, and even if it's not the low man stuff, the rebounding, Raj. If he's willing to help us on the defensive side rebound at a higher level, bro, we can do so many great things in the playoffs.
We were always talking about, like, and LeBron's been public about this. He's like, yeah, I want ball handlers next to me because I don't have to bring the ball up every time. And like, I think from the outside, it's very easy. Like, you don't want to bring the ball up. It takes 5-6 seconds. But like that, teams don't just let LeBron bring the ball up. They ball pressure full court on him now. And I think that's a strategic thing to kind of wear his legs out. And now they've kind of taken that from him too. It's like, no, it's all right. Like, we got you. You can screen, get in the post. He's not really running much pick and rolls either. You mentioned the post ups have kind of dipped down. He hasn't been efficient on that, but that's still a weapon the Lakers have against switches. You can't just switch, a Reed Shepherd on LeBron James. The Lakers are going to go to that, especially. And I thought he did a good job, attacking him, attacking a guy like Jamal Murray, against Denver. They just found ways to kind of use him nicely with Luka and Austin. But yeah, I think him accepting this role, Vinay, like, I think that's been the key. And the Shell's kind of asking about this, in the chat in terms of is LeBron James buying to a shapeshifter role, the key to the transformation of the team from a month ago, and they were losing. Shout out to Shell, by the way. Got to meet him in San Francisco, which was really cool. He and his wife. So that was awesome to kind of meet him, and appreciate it for the $5 super chat.
Yeah, shout out to Shell for the $5 super chat. Basically asking, is Bron buying into this shapeshifter role? People make the joke that it's a Draymond role. It's genuinely not a Draymond role because we're not asking him to carry the entire defensive load for the team. But is his transformation or his improvement? I do want to give him credit because I do think his improvement on the effort level and even just his offensive efficiency, scoring wise, it has had an ancillary effect on the rest of the team. Like the same way we talk about Aiden, same way we talk about Austin. I think Braun is a big part of that too as well, especially on the defensive side. Because remember, him and Luka are our two wings. Like those are the two wings. You can't escape rebounding and defending with wings. Like Austin can't do it for you, and Marcus is already on the perimeter guard that we have. So somebody has to pick it up. And like I said, Luka's done it too as well. But it's great to see Braun have to embrace that. Be willing to embrace that.
It's funny because you mentioned the 6 dunks that he had, you know, or whatever in Houston.
10
He's
dunks in 2 games, Raj. When's the last time you've seen something like that?
he's kind of in low key. He's become our lob threat in a weird way because Aiden's not really a lob threat. They throw him lob
Yeah.
passes, not really like for lob dunks, final so he can catch it, you know, settle himself and go up. But they're throwing lobs to LeBron on back cuts, and
Bro.
this is the beauty of having off ball LeBron James is all right. Like there was a play against I think in Houston where he V cut so hard to the rim, he got a monster like tomahawk dunk, and it's
Yeah.
like it's Sengun back there who couldn't really get in front. I've loved this evolution of the Lakers offense that has again, people are gonna take it. The LeBron stands are taking it as some demotion. Wait till his next team and he gets the. It's like all right, like that's fine, but like right now the Lakers have found this beauty of he has 2 offensive engines as starting backcourt guards, and he's become just this. I think Shell put it well, this shapeshifter that can kind of play everyone on the floor. I've loved kind of what they've used him as.
Yeah. On the topic of dunks, Marcus Smart threw him a lob, which I was 100% sure when I was watching it in real time. I'm
He's
like,
going out
oh,
of bounds.
this is going out of bounds. Like
Yeah,
the way he threw it, I was like, this shit is going out of bounds. Oh, apologies for the language. But it's going out of bounds. And Braun somehow, first of all, it was way away from the rim. And the
yeah,
second thing is he threw it super hard. It wasn't a lob. He like gunned it to him. And I was just like, there's no way he's catching this because like you'd have to catch it with 2 hands and you're so far away. Like maybe he finishes it with a layup. But Braun somehow turned back the clock, grabbed it with one hand, and finished that dunk. And that's just been again like we're on this high because we're on this winning streak and stuff like that, and
yeah,
we've beaten these teams. But again, you and I are also the type of guys that always try to contextualize the wins too. Like, did we actually really win? Did we do some bad
yeah,
stuff and we got lucky out of these games? Like these Houston wins, we had to play 2 different styles of basketball, and we managed to win both of those games. But again, on the topic of hierarchy and Austin and Braun figuring out, I'm glad that they're trying to figure things out. I think that also doesn't happen if you don't have a good relationship with each other as teammates. Like Austin and Braun are the most tenured players together. They played together, since Austin's been here. I think they know how to read off of each other. Like, okay, Austin's playing good defense. He's not knocking down his shots, but I'm getting all these opportunities. So let me just go and get the score here. So that's a big deal. But at the end of it, Raj, at the end of it, no matter what happens, both of those dudes in the fourth quarter, they're giving the ball back to Luka.
yeah,
And Luka is doing some crazy stuff at the end of these games, dude. And so, again, it's good to see that. I'm glad to hear that Ayton had this moment of self-reflection. I'm glad
yeah.
to hear that, Austin and Braun are kind of figuring out the yin and yang of how they're supposed to work. I'm glad to hear that Luka is now not second guessing himself at the end of these games and just saying, no, you brought me here to be me. So let me go be me. And we're getting game winners and 60-point games. It's awesome, dude. Awesome stuff.
It's wonderful. And again, I want to just reiterate because I think you talked about the contextualizing all this stuff. Not in a cynical way, but if the Lakers had the record the Warriors do, a lot of this, like you're not getting a lot of this stuff. I think winning is what adds. It's the huge part of all of this, as it should be, right? The whole point of this is to win, right? Losing is not fun in any kind of capacity in any part of life, but especially on NBA teams, there's a culture that winning bleeds. It brings teammates closer in a way that losing. Go look at the losing teams. There's not a lot of fun going on. There's not a camaraderie on losing teams going on.
Yeah.
And I think this team is legit. They believe in themselves. The role players, I think, are slotted, Vinay. And we've talked about this all year. Like, people have attacked the role players viciously this whole season.
Yeah,
like
the Laker way.
But I'm like, slot them into. I think this is game 25 this season of Luka, LeBron, and AR, or whatever it is. It's still a very small sample towards the 82-game season. It's like, slot these guys in the correct roles, and these guys are awesome. People are like, oh, Luke Kennard should shoot 15 times. Like, that's not Luke Kennard, though. I think Austin said out, like, oh, Luke Kennard should shoot 13 threes. That's not his,
he's
his game. But slot him next to, 2-3 guys who are awesome playmakers where he can kind of shoot, attack, closeouts, be the extra pass. Like, you see what his skill value is. Again, Rui, I think, led the team in plus minus the other night, which you would never guess. But tonight, I don't know the numbers on him. I'm not even sure how well he played. But I just think the role players have found some rhythm. Jake LaRavia has, I think, found a nice, I think he's playing 12 to 15 minutes, and he hasn't shot well, but just brings a level of energy. Jackson Hayes is correctly on the bench, I think, now, and gets to bring that. I don't know, Vinay. I think the team has found a nice, real rhythm of what works rotation wise, what works play wise. This is what we do. We take your star player out of it. If your star player isn't Jokic, like, you guys better move the ball really well, because we're gonna take away the easy passes. We're gonna make you think. We're gonna zone up. I just like the seriousness that they've approached this end of the regular season. I think they have a 3-game lead now on Minnesota for the 3 seed. Because they have the tiebreaker. So Evan, it looks like we're going to another first round with home court advantage.
Yeah, no, I mean it's gonna be interesting to see how they close out the game, or sorry, close out the season. Still a lot of games to go, a lot of different things can happen. So we'll see how it all goes. But again, this was a really, really important stretch of basketball, and that's something that I think can't be understated, because I think all Laker fans are like, we have to, like, we know you can beat Minnesota, like we know you can beat them because we've seen you do it with Luka, without Luka, with Braun, without Braun. So we know you can beat them with improved role players. You and I were pounding our hands on the desk saying, hey, we have better role players. If we had to play Minnesota again, we're going to beat them in a playoff series. Like that's how much we believe that our talent deficit was there the way it was. But we didn't know about Denver. We didn't know about Houston. And to some degree, we still don't know about Denver, because those games are all coming down to the wire. Houston games came down to the wire. But the real thing is that we are getting over that hump. What do we have a blueprint for how we can beat these teams? Have we seen ourselves beat you? I remember I was watching the first Houston game where we couldn't score. And I think Braun went to go take free throws or something like that. It was like a tight game. Braun got fouled, and he went to go take free throws. And I was just like, I hope he makes them both. And he did. He ends up making them both. I said, I hope that helps the Lakers just to see the ball go through the basket, because we went like 6 minutes without scoring the basketball. So like that, and that did that. They like unlocked something mentally when it happened. And that's the human side of basketball. So it's just, I think in that same respect, like, you beat these teams in the regular season, but you like beat them. Like, you're not like, oh, we barely beat them, or they just had like a abnormally bad shooting night. Like, we're really beating these teams. That it gets you over a mental hump when you actually have to play them in the playoffs. And I think that's a big deal.
100%. We're almost at the hour mark. There's a few things I want to kind of get off that we haven't really spoke about. Not really a rant, but something that has annoyed me, I guess. It's when like jokes get turned into serious basketball analysis. You know what I mean? Like, the Clint Capella stuff was fun. Like, it's funny. Like, you can enjoy it. It crossed this line, Vinay, where people really believe current Clint Capella would have been better for the Lakers than DeAndre Ayton. And that's where I'm like, we gotta slow down. Like there are real people who are saying that. It's like, Clint Capella averages 4 points a game in 12 minutes a night for the Houston Rockets. DeAndre Ayton, I don't think people realize DeAndre Ayton is playing 27 minutes a game.
Yeah.
He's averaging 13 and 8 and gets maybe one shot a quarter. Like, I think that's where I feel like the jokes become so real that like people believe the like analysis behind the joke. And that's where like I think it's important to go, Clint Capella starting on the Lakers would have been a disaster this season. Like the stuff around, like, we've gotten like too far. Like prime Clint Capella. Okay, I think there's a conversation. Like, is that a better fit around Luka Doncic? Maybe, right? Prime Clint Capella doesn't care about touches, lob threat, block shots, great offensive rebounder, etc. People have crossed the line where they went current. If DeAndre Ayton was current Clint Capella averages 4 points a game. People, like, he cannot play.
I think sometimes people don't actually watch these players, but they like read everything on the timeline. I genuinely think that's what happens. Like when Laker fans complain about role players like being up and down, they'll be like, why can't Jake LaRavia average like 5, 3, and 2 every game? Why are there some games where he has 0 points and 2 rebounds and 1 assist? Why is there so much variance? And then they'll point at like some random role player on some other team, and they'll be like, well, look at this guy. He's like steady. Like, well, first of all, you're using his season averages, and then you're picking one game and comparing him to season averages, and then saying, why can't he be more like him? But then if I go and I watch that player and I listen to the fan base talk about that player, they have the same exact complaints that they
Right.
have about Jake, that we have about Jacob Irving, about that guy. So it's just like, I think there's a little bit of that happens on the timeline. And there 100% is this thing that with our fan base, because we have such a big fan base and because Elon basically wants you to engage with bait as much as possible on X, where like people really lean into it to a point where it's just like, it's that vicious cycle, Raj, where the joke becomes so popular and people see the numbers of engagement that people are getting behind the joke, that then the media picks it up and says, well, I need those engagement numbers too. So I'm going to just act like this joke is a real thing. And then you get Clint Capella playing against DeAndre Ayton. Clint Capella takes a layup, grabs an offensive rebound, goes to take a layup that goes all the way to the other side of the rim because he has no touch whatsoever right now. So bad that the second game against Houston, when they got Şengün back, they didn't even want to play Clint Capella off the bench.
Yeah.
They're like, bro, we can't play this dude. And so we only played him because we had to, because we had Şengün the first game. So it's just like, again, I think that's just gonna be a thing, bro. Honestly,
it's just that one annoyed me because it's so easy to like Google what Clint Capella is doing this season. That like, yes, like Clint Capella as a third big maybe have helped this season, maybe like on some nights where one of Jackson or Aiden doesn't play, but like the joke has gone too far when you're like, let's start the 35-year or whatever he is, or maybe he's only 30. I think he's pretty young still, but like, like he just is not the player he was. And I think injuries have gone a part of it, for all that. But that's the stuff that is a little bit annoying to me in the conversation around, and that's why like I'm not like the biggest Rui stan, but I try to bring up like this guy shoots. They put a stat out the other day, Vinay, that like he's the best mid-range shooter in the league. Like it's like 56% on mid-range. You know how elite that is? Like I know you don't like this player, but that's prime Chris Paul level like mid-range accuracy that Rui Hachimura is taking on 6-7 shots a game. I think he's been helpful. Now, is he the perfect power forward? No, like he's a slow-footed big that can sometimes have some Vladimir Radmanovich movements, but like I think Rui overall has been a helpful helpful player. He's in a lot of positive units for the Lakers. We mentioned the starting lineup is not a good one for him, and JJ Redick correctly removed him from that. Doesn't mean he's not a helpful player, but I think the Lakers are 20 games over 500.
Amazing,
and like that can't be also compared with they have a shitty team. Like it's just the conversation around it is just so funny to me. But we'll keep going.
No, it'll be Tuesday. I'll throw a bone to Braun FC because I've been antagonizing them throughout this season because I keep asking the question, why is Rui better in the starting lineup than Braun is? And they're like, no, just wait. And I'll be like, but I do it on purpose to gaslight them. But like that's like a joke that I make because I genuinely don't believe Rui is better than Braun. But I do think there's a fit conversation about that I think Braun has now started to figure out. And now you're seeing him in that, not in Rui's role, but you're seeing him now figure it out. And now you're beating really good teams with him kind of figuring it out at the same time. So it's just like, I've also seen people make that joke and be like, yeah, maybe we should just send Braun home, or maybe we should just, I was like, no, that was a joke. That's not a real thing. We're not doing that. Like we don't have a replacement for this guy. So we're not doing any of that. But again, like, we can make the jokes because it's always in the field of basketball, contextualizing it with the actual basketball. But it allowed us to get to a point where we could ask questions of why does this work when it works here, and then eventually the players figure that out and their effort changes and their effort gets better, and all of a sudden they're buying into each other, and now you're 20 games over 500, and it is awesome. Lakers are on an 8-game win streak. We hope this continues for as long as possible. They're beating good teams. They're beating tough teams. They're beating teams that a lot of, I think, national folks, non-Laker fans, even some Laker fans, thought that we might not win. And they're a real test for us. And look, man, it's a great time to be a Laker fan. Who knows what the end of the season is going to look like and how far they go in the playoffs. But you just want to see good basketball on the floor and good effort on the floor. And I think we're getting that. And Luka's a monster. He's an MVP candidate. I don't want to hear about Jokic. Like, I want to hear about the guy who's actually winning these games. I want to hear about the guy who's leading the league in scoring. The guy who's averaging also, I think, third in assists or something like that. He's one of the better assist players in the league too as well. So they're a good team. We have a great superstar. We have great complementary guys in Austin and LeBron. We have great role players. It's coming together at a good time.
It's coming together. A few things. Shout out, Koopa, who I think he's also in the Detailers Club as well.
Yeah.
So Clint Capella is actually the third string center because Steven Adams is actually hurt. So even adds to it. And then I just want to say I love Luka Doncic's ethical 60 points tonight.
Oh my God! Yeah, we didn't even make that joke.
The 83 on the Bam 83 that legitimately annoyed me. I understand it. Respect to Bam Adebayo for going for a record and getting it. I feel like that record should have. Not saying Bam is the one that had to do it, but there's a level of cherishing those type of things that I just don't think it was. I think it was tarnished a little bit in terms of where the record is right now. That name, like Bam's obviously better than this player, but there used to be this list where it's like guys who averaged 25, 12, and 10, and it's like all these legends like LeBron, Larry Bird, and it's like Thaddeus Young on the end of it. It's like shout out Thaddeus Young who had a great career, but it's like that list just is, it's just a little bit it's just not right. And this is going to be like Wilt, Kobe, and Bam Adebayo. It's like, I like Bam, nice player, Team USA guy, like has had a great career, but it's just a guy that you have to ask to shoot more is somehow in the leading leads of scoring just breaks my brain. But
hey, look, I appreciate your sentiment, Raj, but I have eyeballs, buddy. I watched that game. I know exactly what happened in that game. I'm not going to be gaslit by media people telling me, well, you should just appreciate Bam scoring 83 points. Like, okay, cool. Congratulations, Bam. You're in the record books. Congratulations to your 83.
Yeah.
I don't have to respect it because I can understand what context works and how I can contextualize it. I know the shenanigans you guys did to get him there. But again, congratulations to him. It's totally cool. I'm not saying his name. I'm not saying Wilt, him, and then Kobe. I'm just saying it's Wilt and Kobe. I can remove that. Hey, I'm a big Star Wars fan, Raj. You know those 3 Disney movies that came out, the ones that Disney made with the Star Wars after like.
I have no idea, but go ahead, brother.
Well, neither do I because I blacked those out of my mind as well. I don't accept them.
I didn't even know they existed. I know there's 6. There's 6, right? There's 6.
Yeah, exactly 6. There's no more than that. It's exactly 6. And so that's why it's really important to exercise. On top of all this Lakers stuff that we were talking about, it's also important to practice good mental health and just block out the things that you choose not to accept in your reality. And Babs 83 is going to be one of those things. But anyways, we're joking.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him. Congratulations to the Lakers. Congratulations to Luka for yet another spectacular game. I don't even think he truly gets the attention he deserves because I personally think it should be him and SGA. Those are your 2 MVP candidates for this season. And I don't know if there's anybody else that really comes in the way like that. I think that's the honest thing. And SGA is just phenomenal. He's going to win it most likely. But I don't think anything else, anything more can be said. Let's just hope they continue to stay healthy. Lakers got more games. Let's close out the season strong, hold on to this 3 seed, and get a home series. And then we'll play it out the way that we have to and see what happens.
I agree. Let's keep the winning streak going.
Yeah. So, folks, for all of you that were able to join, we appreciate you. Tell your friends about Lakers Detailed. You can follow us on Apple and Spotify. You can go back to the YouTube. You can join the Detailers Club, and I'll add you to our Discord. It's a way of showing support for the pod if you'd like. Or if you don't want to, just tell your friends about it. Like, share, subscribe, whatever you have to do. It's totally fine. We appreciate you. And if nothing else, we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.
Peace.